Yeah, it's a great movie. Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey is the big buzz going around right now. A movie that has garnered a reputation even before its release, with people on two sides of the fence. On one side, the ones that were eagerly anticipating the film, and on the other, the ones that seem to not want to touch the movie with a 10-foot pole. The Odyssey is based on a 2,000-year-old Greek poem that was attributed by an ancient Greek poet named Homer. Simpson. Sorry, couldn't help myself. It was a Greek classic that was passed down from generation to generation, which is why it is so beloved by many people. So when fans first heard the casting choices of this Christopher Nolan movie, they were bewildered to say the least, claiming that the choices are not source accurate to the original text and that this is just going to be a wokeified retelling of the classic story, as well as casting well-known actors in the movie such as Tom Holland or Zendaya. Others also say that the movie is not being accurate with its dialogue, using too modern of words for the time period. So how well did these casting choices pay off? Well, let's start with Matt Damon, the star of the show. Spoilers ahead. Matt Damon plays Odysseus, the man behind the Trojan horse idea. Throughout the major chunk of the movie, we follow him and his men as they are all trying to get back home after the Trojan War, but they got lost throughout the way. Matt Damon did a fine job playing Odysseus. He didn't give a standout performance as the character, but he was constantly fine throughout the movie. Really no notable scenes with him besides the end with him returning home, and I think that's fine. He didn't really need to give an all-out performance as the movie was about Odysseus, but more so his adventure back to Ithaca. We're just witnessing the adventure through his eyes and someone who really wants to bring his men back home safely and would do what it takes to do so. It was less about the individual character and more about him trying to save his men. I enjoyed the character for what it was, but it wasn't really a noteworthy performance. Same goes for Tom Holland, but to a much lesser extent. Tom Holland plays Telemachus, the son of Odysseus and Penelope. He gives us the Tom Holland performance that we're all used to, the one he gives us in all of the Spider-Man movies. Hell, the one he gave us as Nathan Drake in the Uncharted movie. Remember that shit show? His performance isn't bad by any stretch of the imagination. It's just that we've been accustomed to it at this point. Tom Holland's performance here is no different than in any of his previous roles. I would have liked to see more range from him here in his role as Telemachus. It looks like he's gonna play the same teenager role until he turns 47. Then he'll start to play characters in their mid-20s. He has that good young genetics in him, as well as the Hollywood secret juice that he puts on his face every morning. But not really the best performance by him as I would have liked, but it's passable. A performance that I really enjoyed was Penelope, portrayed by Anne Hathaway. She does a great job as the wife of Odysseus. She delivers all of her lines as someone who just wants her husband to return and deal with all the stress that she's going through. We can just see it in how Hathaway portrays it in her emotions as the character. While she's talking to Telemachus or Robert Pattinson's character, with him trying to win her over to become king, but she sees right through it. Just a really good verbal and non-verbal acting from her, as well as Robert Pattinson's character Antinous, who is the primary villain in the movie as he's one of the suitors living within Odysseus' home. Robert Pattinson has really won me over throughout the years, playing a whole heap of characters. From Batman to Connie from Good Time to his Lighthouse performance to fucking paper white period blood-sucking Edward Cullen from Twilight. He's shown us that he has so much acting range from these performances as each one is significantly different from another, and his role in The Odyssey is no different. He's grown to become one of my favorite actors in recent times. Robert Pattinson plays such a great, arrogant asshole in this movie that you're just waiting for him to get his comeuppance. Antinous is a snobby, snarky villain that would just about do anything to become king. Robert Pattinson does a wonderful job in The Odyssey, tying with Anne Hathaway as the best performance in the movie. Zendaya was certainly in the movie for about 5 minutes. She plays Athena, the goddess of wisdom and warfare, as well as being the protector of Odysseus. Not really much to say about Zendaya. It felt like anybody could have played that role. It's like, what's the point in bringing in an A-list celebrity just for them to hardly be in the movie? I'll tell you why. Marketing. They want to draw on as many people as possible, so hearing that a popular celebrity is in the movie would make people want to go watch. In the trailers, it seemed that she would have a major role in the movie, but is hardly in the film at all. This also kind of goes for Travis Scott's character, who I don't even know the name of. Google tells me that Travis Scott plays a bard who recounts the tales of the Trojan War. I was hoping that he would just start rapping at some point. Like at the end of telling the story, we would just faintly hear him singing Sicko Mode in the background, and then Drake just comes out. I didn't have a problem with him not being a major part of the story. I think this role is perfect for him. Just the, oh my god, it's Travis Scott, and then you point, and that's it kind of moment. That's what I did the 2 times he appeared. It was funny seeing him here as he was just out of place in the movie, but I wouldn't remove him. Real quick, leaving a like and subscribing would mean a lot in making this Greek warrior shed a tear. Elliot Page, who plays Sinon, was also not a major part of the Odyssey, as well as Lupita Nyong'o. too, both having a couple minutes within the movie, which I think is funny because of the controversy, as they're hardly in the film. That's why I don't really think it's that big of a deal, as they play characters that weren't in the movie that much. They could have been played by anybody, so who cares if it wasn't 100% accurate to the source? I don't think that there's anything to get upset about. It doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. What I do agree on is that they could have cleaned up some of the dialogue decisions that make it sound somewhat in the time period, because it does sound a little too modern. Don't go all out and have everyone speak Greek and have the movie be in subtitles. That would have been too much and would have drawn away present day audiences, but they could have added some thous, yays, you know, old English words like that, just to immerse us a little more in that time period. I'm someone who literally knows nothing about the original Odyssey story, only knowing that it was a 2000-something-year-old text. I went in watching the movie raw, no rubber, not really knowing what to expect. It wasn't until I finished the film where I came home and did research on how accurate it was to the classic story, and from what I can tell, it was mostly the same. Just a couple slight changes, but nothing too dramatic. I watched the Odyssey on a regular old Dolby 7.1 screen, but would have loved to watch it how it was intended on IMAX. I would have had to go in an Odyssey of my own just to go to an IMAX theater, but still, the movie looked great in my local theater. The movie looked beautiful from top to bottom. Every location that they went on was stunning to look at. The cinematography all throughout the movie was wonderful, from ocean waves to the rocky hills and islands that they landed on. Every location was a spectacle. I thoroughly enjoyed how the movie looked. What really caught my eye was how they used shadows to hide figures or faces in the film, such as the Cyclops. We can't really get a good look at it as it's hiding its face and whole body in the shadows when it first appears, making it look way creepier with us only seeing a little bit because of the fire that's in the cave. Another one is near the end of the movie, where Odysseus has returned home but is hiding his identity behind a cloth hood and claiming that he's a mere beggar.
Spare change. Spare change, ma'am.
Somebody get these beggars out of here!
The shadows caused by the fire lanterns are hiding his identity until he reveals himself. There were some incredible shots throughout the whole film, and I love that they used real life locations rather than green screening everything. It paid off tremendously. I read that they were on these ships in the actual ocean for a month straight, most of the cast members throwing up their Greek euros that they had for lunch. It's things like that that make Christopher Nolan movies special, as he truly cares about his movies. What the movie did best was adapting the adventure of the Odyssey. It truly felt like we were on this journey with Odysseus and his men. After the first landing with the Cyclops, it was all thrills from there, as each time they landed, I was wondering what crazy creatures they were going to encounter next. The movie does a great job in building anticipation on the weird but deadly creatures that it shows us. We come across many creatures and individuals, we'll say, from man-eating giants to witches that can turn humans into animals. It was just such a great adventure to go on. I can see why this Greek story survived for so long. It's just a great story. So yeah, no reason the adventure and story is going to be the best part of the Odyssey. We have amazing scenes as well, like them going through the sea and trying not to be allured by the sirens, who if you hear, you'd want to go to them as they tempt you with your most wanted wish. We see how tempting it is as a crew member takes off the wax in his ears and jumps off the ship to be with them, and Odysseus, who wants to hear it for himself, ties himself up because he wants to be the only person who hears the sirens and survive it. This adventure has it all. Triumph with Odysseus coming back and besting all of the suitors. Nowhere throughout the near 3-hour movie was I bored. All of it was entertaining from start to finish. If I were to complain about something, it would be in the beginning with Telemachus learning of his father, as it did take a while for the story to kick off and let the adventure begin, but it picks up after the first 15 minutes. The score also for the movie was great. Those horns will be etched into my memory. It's that good. The action in the movie was okay, nothing really to write home about. I would have liked for the action scenes to feel more impactful than it is. Most of them were shaky cam and you can't really see all too much of it. The one action scene that I did enjoy was the one with Odysseus fighting the suitors at the end. I just wish that they were more brutal with it, like they were cutting people's throats open and it looked like they were gently gliding a feather across their neck and a quick camera cut away. If the action was more gory, it would have felt more impactful. These are the Greeks, man. They were a brutal bunch of people, and I would have liked to see that in the movie. But the action scenes they gave us were serviceable, I guess. The Odyssey is most definitely worth watching if you enjoy the original story, as it takes the classic poem and blows it up to an 80 by 72 feet screen, if you're lucky to watch it that way. I give Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey an 8.4 out of 10. Tell me what your thoughts are of the movie in the comments below. Click here if you want to watch all of my reviews for movies that came out this year. Thanks for watching, peace out, and have fun.